Hello, hello, hello. What's up, y'all? Welcome to The Idea of, where we explore the noise, nuance, and everything in between. I am Mike,
And I'm Bassey.
and this is a space where culture, creativity, and conversation
Collide.
Oh, we need a flex mob right there. What's going on, Bossy? How you
Tell
been?
Flex to drop a bomb on this shit. What's that from?
Right? I feel like a
What is that from?
Tails
Tell Flex
flex.
to drop a bomb on
That's a,
this shit. Oh, it's Control. It's a Control verse by
oh,
Kendrick
yeah,
Control.
yeah, yeah. What's going on?
Not much. You like my mug? My Meghan Markle mug?
That's dope. That's dope.
I
Yes.
got it at the thrift store. It was like 30 cents. I was like, why
Wow.
not?
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Um, Nothing. Not a lot. This has been a weird week
Yeah.
for me. It kind of happened without my participation or input, it feels like.
hmm Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
How about
lot
you?
going
Happy
on.
birthday. Oh my
Eh,
gosh. Happy
Thank
birthday.
you. Let's
I would
go.
sing, but I won't.
49, man. Woo! Feels good.
Yeah.
It feels good.
One step closer.
I know. What are we gonna do next year? We both turn 50 next year. Like we have to.
We. I'm
What?
I'm rewinding.
Oh, okay.
Rewind selector. I'm going
You,
back.
you're backwards. Got it. Got it. Got it.
I'm
True.
going back. I refuse. I'm not prepared. I'm not ready. I was watching some show the other day, like some older show, can't remember what it was, and somebody on the show was turning 40. And I was like, what? Because when
No.
we were younger, they looked, and even now looking at them, I was like, you 40 years old? You look
Right.
about 70.
All the
I feel like we're looking younger. Generations look younger as they age, except for millennial. I mean, it's Gen Z for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the millennials now, like the true millennials, are like 40, which is
Yeah,
weird, right?
yeah.
Which is really weird. But no, everything's good. We had a great episode last week. Want to start off reading some comments, but we could do that in a minute. But this week has just been, the news has been crazy.
Crazy.
I feel like a lot of people are, I don't know, are struggling with how to process everything that's going on. And as a result, they're either just like stuffing it away, like that la 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 la, I don't want to hear it, can't handle it,
Mhm.
or they're just like completely um sidetracked, or just focusing on like something else,
Distractions.
ignoring it, distracting
Yeah.
themselves, soothing, which I think are all good ways to handle it. Like what are we doing right now? Like as a country, it's just.
I don't know.
Did
I've been
you
on
by
a
chance
little. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
did you listen to the Black Guy Who Tips, to Rob and Karen's podcast this week?
No, not yet.
Oh my God. I was driving yesterday from dropping Ellington off and listened to their episode on the way back. I don't know if a podcast has ever made me teary, but they have a segment that I think they just started doing recently, but it's like their take on like political news, and it's like, let's get mad, or like something like politics, let's get mad, something like that. And Karen, they
Karen
were
White.
oh my God, they were responding to, what's the comedian guy's name, the black comedian on CNN. He has his own show. I think Rob Woods, maybe Rob Williams.
I know who you're talking about.
You know what I'm
Roy.
talking? Roy,
Roy
Roy, Roy,
Woods.
Roy, Roy, Roy
Roy
Woods, Roy
Woods.
Woods.
Yeah.
And I think Rob has a connection with him or knows him on some level. And he was responding to a statement that he made, that Roy made, when Rolling Stones asked him basically, like, what do we do with the state of politics right now? And Roy responded in a way that a lot of folks don't agree with. He was basically on some, both sides, like we have to, love one another. Like that's the only way to solve it, which wasn't wrong, but it just wasn't the tone that Rod agreed with. And he really blasted him. He just like, that's just, what can he say? Like he's in this environment. He has a show on CNN. Like that's the CNN answer. And Rod gave his response. And then Karen, I mean, she expressed such raw emotion about feeling anger and sadness, and feeling hopeless in a way, but it was the most raw moment I think I've ever experienced in a podcast form, in any form really. and
Yeah.
captured so perfectly what I think so many of us, especially Black folks, are feeling. And I mean, she was crying, and I was like, oh my God, it was just such a raw moment. It was really dope. So shout out to them for, just
Always.
keeping it real, like a different level of real. And Rod even said, like, we are one of the only, like, having this kind of platform is, he takes a lot of responsibility, takes on a lot of responsibility in like keeping his voice solid and pure and honest, and just the way that they use their platform in that moment, and in a lot of moments, was just so, so dope. So big shout out
Yeah,
to them.
the Black Guy Who Tips is such an important platform for many reasons, but, like, Rod and I are really, really good friends,
Hmm.
and his ability, his empathy and his compassion and his intelligence all show up in a way that is extraordinary that you don't see a lot of. Either you see a lot of, like, raw emotion and
Hmm.
no real solid
Knowledge base.
perspective, but
Yeah.
he's able to, and I also respect the fact that he's able to allow his honesty to live, and if for any reason he gets more information, he also is able to process that as well. Probably one of the least hypocritical people I know,
Mm. Yeah.
because he's so rooted in his truth that he's able to leave room to be wrong, which to me is a sign of somebody who, yeah, I just think they're great, and not a hidden gem, but, like,
Mhm.
she just the way that she shows up sometimes with her wisdom, it's fucking incredible. I think they're amazing.
Yeah, and I told you, I don't know if I told you on or off camera, but at first when I was listening to them, just like sonically, like Karen's accent was throwing me off. I think I probably shared this when we were on with them, and it was throwing me off. And then just from an audio perspective, I almost had to like rewire and refocus on like how they complement each other. It's beautiful. Like and yesterday was one of those moments when I was listening that it didn't click. It's clicked before, but it it was just such a perfect display of both of their talents.
Yeah,
Um, and it gave me like I feel like on some level, because of your relationship with them, like I feel like they're our big brother, big sibling in this podcast space. And I was like, man, like the way that they use their voice in that space was just like perfect, and for what they did it for too. Like,
yeah,
talking about the raw sentiment of what's going on in the country. It was, you got to go with it's like the
yeah, I'm gonna
first maybe
listen
like
today. I have a bunch of
30 or 40 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna
And
listen today.
yeah,
I have to be
phenomenal.
stuck in an MRI machine for a little bit, and I'll
Oh
be
no.
sitting there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. But yeah, so coming off of our episode last week, I think we had a great conversation. I listened to our episode a couple times from last week because I don't know, I just feel like there was something flipped for me in our conversation, but it wasn't like, I don't know, something felt so concrete about our, like the way that we hold space for each other, and the way that we disagree, the way that we agree, the way that we process information in real time. It was just on full display in that episode. It was really good. Like that was one of my favorites. But I wanted to read a comment or two from, can you still see me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. I switched my screen here. So a comment from our last episode. Our last episode, we were talking about the previous episode, the last one of the year of 2025. Um, and so one of the listeners, Yoshi WP8ZI, he commented, he's the one who called me a Drake stan. And that our conversation last week was kind of centered around that, picking sides, and how we align ourselves with artists and artistry. And his response to our episode last week, he said, to be clear, wasn't trying to take you out with the previous comment, Mike. I think most of us get that Drake fan, in quotes, isn't your actual identity, and you're a complex and thoughtful person. But as Bassey points out, the term Drake fan signals certain behaviors that apply to that conversation. I guess a lot gets lost in internet shorthand. I thought that was a dope comment. And, I love that, the fans that do comment that we do hear from, like they really listen, right? And they really, when I look back at some of our metrics, like most of our followers listen to our whole episode, which I think is like I think that's just such a good sign for what we're trying to build and how we engage with our audience. I want to do more of that in the future for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And then one more comment, a small comment from, I think this is my boy John, who is a guy I met here in North Carolina that helps us like around the house, like putting stuff together. It's kind of like an all fix it guy. Like he fixes things, put things together. He has a business in North Carolina called Triangle Assembly. And that's the moniker that he left his comment under. And it says, when the artists align themselves with political figures, that's when they remove themselves from particularly being celebrated solely based on their music.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I feel like,
I agree. That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, 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 yeah. So thanks for listening, y'all. Thanks, continue to leave comments. We really appreciate it. And I think it helps, to ground us and let us know, like, real people are listening to this. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
For sure.
So what else?
For
What's
sure.
going on? How have you been processing everything this week?
I have been, I think I mentioned, I've been in a Shador Sanders cocoon.
Mhm.
That has been what was that thing that we used to say when we were younger? That is what was it? My something drug, my
Mm,
counter drug. Do you remember that whole
mhm, mm, mm.
anti-drug?
Oh,
Anti-drug.
I kinda,
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, yeah.
My anti-drug. Just because there's so much happening in the world that it has been completely overwhelming, and I have immersed myself in the Shador Sanders verse just to make sure that specifically my FYP page doesn't stress me out.
Stays
And
pure.
yeah, because it's been so much. Like I never watch. I'm talking about Minneapolis specifically. And also I gotta tell you about this brick that I bought. I've made it a point since Amadou Diallo, actually, I don't
Mm,
watch the footage. I just
yeah,
don't watch it. I don't think
yeah.
it's necessary for me to. The first time in high school, I watched the Rodney King
Mhm,
beating.
mhm.
And right then I was like, "Okay." I mean, not that I knew that moving forward there'd be cell phones I didn't know that. But
Right.
from then I was like, "I'm not capable of watching this stuff." So I've never watched anything. I didn't watch George Floyd. I didn't watch the Tamir Rice. I didn't watch any of that. Like, that's
Mm,
just my choice.
mhm.
I did not know what I was looking at when I saw the footage from Minneapolis
Yeah.
because I'd heard people talking about it, and I was like, I didn't fully understand what it was, so that when it showed up, like the actual video showed up, I still didn't know what I was looking at. And to see not only what had happened, but immediately following the spin in real time has been so jarring. And so, I don't know. I don't even know how to even say it, because like it's this level of being. The gaslighting in real time is very like,
Yeah.
I just don't understand how to process that. I don't know
Yeah.
how to process it, and I've been left once again shocked and surprised by these group of people that should not be shocking and surprising me, but they found new levels. I don't know what to say, but
No, yeah, I
yeah.
mean, kind of the same. I really tried to not also watch footage. I don't know if I've seen, by mistake, it'll show up on your feed, and I tried to stay away from it as well. The Minneapolis thing, all of it, It's so, you said shock and surprised. And I feel like, I think we've talked about this before where, some people on the internet, in comment sections, they'll say like, are you surprised? And they're almost like, if people are surprised, they'll almost like talk
Like there's
down on them.
something,
Like, how could you be
yeah.
surprised about this? You know?
I wanna be surprised every single time.
Oh my God. That's what I said.
Every single time.
I've said that so many times. Like, I don't want to lose my surprise.
No.
I don't want to lose like how shocking all of this shit is. Even if history tells us that, this is how it's happened before, even if, I always want to be surprised when someone is killed on TV.
Yeah.
That's real. That's not a movie. And this was shocking and surprising. And it was, you know, we seen you said just now the real-time gaslighting, which I didn't even know you could do that. Like that's surprising to me. I didn't know that you can gaslight someone while an image is being processed. So like they're
I think they
telling
did that with
you
George Floyd.
like you're not seeing what you're really seeing when you're looking at it in
Yeah.
the exact time. You know what I'm saying? Man, I really hate the way that the mainstream media provides space for the gaslighting to happen, right? I do, for better or for worse, watch a lot of news. When I'm sitting here working, I have CNN on in the background, just, and we saw the video in the morning. We heard about it in the morning. I saw a lot of activists on Instagram. I don't know if you follow like Jolly Good Ginger. This white
I
guy.
don't follow him, but I know who he is.
Yeah, he's like this white guy, a veteran, and he just speaks the truth about everything that we're all experiencing. And I saw a lot of the Tennessee Holler, which I think is a site from like local activists in Tennessee that always have like pretty good reflections about things. And they were saying this happened, this woman was killed, in the moment. And then I had CNN on, and that afternoon, the vice president, Christy Nome, all these folks were like in the moment telling you this was self-defense. This is what happened. She tried to do this with her car. Like, and they were like telling us, and at the same time, they're telling us there's going to be an investigation. And I'm like, how? Like, you're telling the public what happened. They blocked Minnesota law enforcement from being involved in the investigation.
They
So
blocked the doctor from aiding her on the scene.
I didn't even find out about that till days later. So they're telling us there's going to be investigation while telling us exactly what happened. And I don't know if you saw, but the way that they were speaking to the camera, to the reporters in the room was so disrespectful. And like, how do you come out at a press conference when someone has died and the person that killed them is alive and well, right? Like
Mhm.
they walked away from it unscathed, and then lambast the viewers for potentially thinking that what we saw was real. Like, how do you do that? Like the unmitigated gall of our government to be doing this, it's just disgusting. I'm surprised. I'm in a state of constant shock, and it's just disgusting, man. It's gross.
It's it's interesting in the sense that for the longest time, I feel like we as left-minded people, we as Black people have always had in mind, like, wait until it's a white person, wait until it's a white woman.
Oh,
They're
man.
going to preemptively upset at the fact that they're gonna care more about this future white person than they do about all of these Black people who've been killed by law enforcement. So to watch this white woman
Mhm.
get murdered by, and here's the thing that I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting this. ICE, they're not law enforcers,
Right,
law enforcement. They're
right.
just some guys.
They're just some guys.
I could sign up for ICE tomorrow and
Mhm.
just be
On the
an
street.
ICE person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So people aren't, what is it called? People aren't supposed to comply. You don't, he's just some dude. It's like if your neighbor came out and be like, stop, like,
Right.
move,
Yeah.
John. Like, I'm not
Right.
stopping. So for people to treat this as though it is a viable law enforcement agency, and she was somehow going against the law by choosing to leave her house when some random person told her, no, not even told her to stop, like was trying to like open her car door and like
Open
drag her
her
out.
right, right, right.
Like it to see this is how we know it's a cult. This is how we know that there's no fixing this. And that's the part that I'm having the most trouble with. I have never been a nihilist. I've always been obscenely optimistic about the greater good. I believe that people are
Same. Yep.
ultimately good. I believe that I've since the day I heard it in Vacation Bible School. I do not agree with original sin. I think that people are are born good, and circumstances, traumas, life experience, whatever changes that. For
Mhm.
the first time in my life, I am starting to feel nihilistic.
Yeah.
But I mean that in like in the softest terminology, where I just don't believe things are going to get better. I think that all of the chances that were given, and I do think this country was given multiple chances to be better, and have actively chosen not to.
Yeah.
The way that people are justifying this, the way that people are, especially off the heels of Charlie Kirk,
Right.
especially off the heels of it. Like I don't ever want to lose my belief in people, but I have greatly diminished my belief in the greater good. I still think there are good people out there. I know good people. Most of the people I know are good people, but I don't think that those people are able to combat. I don't even believe in good and evil, but there's something very sinister that's happening now, and I think it's a wrap. I think it's an absolute wrap for this country,
Yeah.
and by extension the world.
Yes. I think that part of the reason that so many of us are down, just like downtrodden and so heavy, is because we're actively recognizing that it's not going to get better, right? Like, I feel like even after some of the most craziest things in our history, like within the times we've been alive, like after 9/11, there was even sense like, okay, well, that this was horrible and the country's coming together under patriotism or whatever it was, right? Like, we're going to treat our neighbors better. And, there are times where I think about what's happening in the government and it like physically makes me sick. Like, it
Yeah.
makes me lose my appetite. Like, it makes
Yeah.
me, it's changed me in terms of, we've talked about like, our skepticism towards whiteness. It's just made me move differently with white people. And but in a different way than before. In a different way than like, you recognize the races for what they are, you treat people based on the energy they give you. So if you're in a situation, like if you're at a soccer game or if you're in the grocery store and you operate like, oh yeah, they probably got a little racism in them. Let me keep away. Like you were able to contextualize that in that moment and still be like, oh, maybe not all white people, maybe a lot of
Yeah.
white people, but not all white people, right? Um, and the way I'm operating now, like I really be like, I think it's all white people. I don't know. Like I don't want to go to that extreme,
But it is.
but yo,
Who
it
else is it?
it really is. And what the last few years has shown me is that, and this is something else that came up on the Black Guy Who Tips podcast, is that during this time where so many people are just belabored by what's happening emotionally, so many white people still have the ability to be like happy. You know what I'm saying? Just at the basic level to like wake up and enjoy their day and have the most mundane interactions. You know what I'm saying? Like
Not
just
even
able to turn the page
but
so
here's the thing though,
easily.
like, yes, but they also have the ability to be upset at some other dumb shit.
Yeah, yes, yeah,
Like,
right?
it's one thing, like, how are you mad about this? When
Right.
this thing just
When
happened.
this just happened,
This
right.
just happened.
Yeah.
This just happened, but you're worried about
The Yankees. I don't know, whatever
you
the
not
fuck,
even
right?
you're worried about there's something the lady who bigged up the coach or whatever.
Oh,
Like you're
great
annoyed at this
example.
woman, but then the journalists who are getting cussed out by our government because they're trying to investigate some shit that happened to y'all people.
Yeah.
You're mad at this part, not this. Like how do you compartmentalize to the point you are where you are able to not only push things aside but reinvent and restructure your anger and direct it someplace
So frivolously.
I
Like
don't
it's
understand.
yeah, and you know, the in regards to the Minnesota and like everything that's happened as afterwards, like they immediately like tried to other her
Mhm.
and tried to, you know, so it wasn't even they're insidious. I keep on like after I watched
Fucking
the
evil.
movie Insidious and like really learned what that word meant. Like, you know, we use it like they like that's but like this is a complete tangent. I promise I'm going to come back. But there was like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, there was a movement in a lot of like movies and television. I think probably started by Us and Get Out, where there were a lot of connections to like horror films and racism. And I remember a lot of my friends, you know, folks I was talking to, like, oh, I can't watch that. It's too much. It's too much. Like, I don't get it. But and I think I talked about this on the show before, the show no, Them,
Them.
Them. It was on Amazon Prime. It was
Mhm.
masterfully done. And it was a horror series about Black families moving to LA in the 60s. And, you know, they had like a monster in the show that was like stepping fetch shit. It was brilliantly done. But when I think about just how insidious this government is operating and like how terrifying they are purposefully being, right? Like, if you believe that, you know, the government shouldn't be involved in, you know, things that happen in your home, and thus you become a Republican and you think that we shouldn't be taxed, okay, like, that's not necessarily what I believe, but, you know, that's your political stance, and we could, you know, we could
Peaceful
operate.
normal.
Right. That's normal. You disagree. Everybody doesn't go to the same church. Everybody doesn't have the same political standing. Fine. But what they're doing now, this indoctrination that's happening, I think about this is where I start to question whiteness even more, like turn up the questioning on whiteness, because everybody I know, everybody that I'm intimately connected with, that I know well, you know, Black folks that overwhelmingly, we agree from a political standpoint, from a universal how we treat each other standpoint, relatively similar. Like there's a kinship in how we operate, right? And there are a lot of white progressives that mimic that sentiment. So they'll go online and say, "Oh yeah, all you know, we're fighting for Black people, we're fighting for LGBT, we want to help folks that are poor," and we see so much of that, and then when you look at the numbers, and I did this week because I just like who are we talking about here, and it was still 70% of white people in total voted for Trump. Like he had 70% of the white vote, should I say, right? So I'm like, 70% is okay with what's happening right now. And those 70% are probably my neighbors. Like my neighbors probably fall in that. Like our mailman, the Amazon delivery person, like people that we engage with every day on some just regular living our life shit are secretly supporting this because they couldn't there's no way that they could be outwardly aligned because they'd be pariahs. Like they'd be, we'd be able to see them. So that means they're hiding. And I feel like so many white folks are hiding in their hate right now. And they have that insidious sentiment within them. And they're supporting this. They're okay with it, or they're not okay. They're not against it enough to push, the change and that we need to see for this not to happen.
Yeah.
So it's just got me real, just, I don't know. It's just such a disgusting place to be in.
It's again, I actively resist pessimism and
Yeah.
I just keep saying nihilism. I actively reject it. It's never been as difficult a job until right now. I don't understand it. The only way that I've kind of sort of been able to understand is like, okay, she's a lesbian, and the other group that they hate more than Black people are lesbians or
Mm.
gay people and lesbians because of their whole point is to preserve white people or to reinstate make more white people. I don't know. So her being a lesbian goes against that. So she's not like the kind of white woman that they want to protect. That's the only thing that I can make sense of for it to make more sense in the little sense it makes. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise I don't understand I don't understand what it is about this guy. I was talking to somebody, somebody was talking about how like these incels were talking about they're going to vote for Gavin Newsom because he's good looking and it's time for a good looking president and whatever. And these are people who are Trump supporters currently, but compared to JD Vance, Gavin Newsom, they use some incel word I don't know. And somebody was like, "My God, that's never happened before. This is ridiculous." I was like, "Okay, first of all, this has always happened." Nixon and John F. Kennedy, the first televised debate,
Mm-hmm.
Nixon won the debate, but lost because compared to JFK, he was a troll compared to JFK. And
Mm-hmm.
people were always talking about how handsome John F. Kennedy was. And that's always been part of the process. People who at large fit an attractive scale that makes sense to the people who are judging it. I think it's still relevant today because if you see any portrayal or portrait of Toupee Fiasco, they make his hair thicker, they make
Mm-hmm.
him thinner, they give
Mm-hmm.
him a stronger jawline. So these are things that are still cosmetically appealing to them. But instead of looking at who this person is, they create the person that looks like what they think a president's supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
The last president that really fit that was Obama, but he was Black. So they then started to
Yeah.
um, reconstruct everything that they'd sold for generations about the American dream. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Bootstraps. This is somebody who came from a not poor background, but not a wealthy background, who
Mm-hmm.
rose up in the ranks to become president. He's got a beautiful wife and beautiful children, and he's a good-looking guy and speaks like all of the things that you're supposed to want a president to be. They immediately decided that that's not part of it anymore because he
Right.
was Black.
Yeah.
So now we've got this I don't even care. Ugly ass,
Orangutan looking.
lumpy
Looks like an
ass.
orangutan. Yeah.
He looks like a ridiculous human being,
Yeah.
and they are trying to make him into like the smartest person. He's not like he's stupid. Like
Yeah.
he's dumb, he's mean, he's ugly. These are all the things you're not supposed that they
So
told us people.
basic, basic descriptions like
That's
that a
it.
5-year-old could understand, like dumb,
Yes.
mean, ugly, stupid.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
Stupid. And they
Yeah.
know exactly if you use those adjectives, he's the first person that pops into your mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
has always been the first person that pops in mind. Not to mention the fact that he's a sex offender, not to mention that he is the author of the Epstein files, not to like all of these things that we've been told that they told us
That they
before
told.
he
Yeah.
showed up and before his name showed up on the Epstein files that they cared about. They
Yep.
throw that all out the window because what they care more than anything else is being racist and xenophobic.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what they care about the most. That is what all of these is hinged on. The fact that they are focused only on preserving this concept of whiteness that they created.
Yeah. Yeah. All the things that they told us we had to be too. Like they told
Mhm,
us that we had to be kind. You have to love your neighbor. You have
mhm,
to, show deference, be humble. Like how many,
respect authority.
respect authority, follow the law, all these things. I still think that a lot of us are trying to process this like it's normal. Like we're
Yeah.
trying to process all of this like no, like it's gonna come a time where the chicken will come home to root, like all like, in real
All the
time,
chickens are dead.
the chickens are fucking annihilated.
The
Like
chickens have been shot to death.
fuck
They're
the
dead.
chickens. But yeah, like all of those things, and that's what makes all of this so jarring is because in my mind, a lot of our minds, like we can't fix it. Like we can't, there's no remedy for this, even when he dies,
Mhm.
right? Like even,
It's already been destroyed.
yeah, even after he's gone, how do Black people have any faith in the political process? Not even, voting is one thing, but just like what politics is supposed to do in this country. Like the fact that, politics and the government exists and we all have to like submit to this way of thinking like it all exists to move people, to control people, to pay for the roads and the highways and the parks and the schools, and all of those institutions uh, uh, are tagged with this administration's hands, right? Like they've all been touched and destroyed on some level
Mhm.
by this administration. Like there's no Department of Education. There's no operating Department of Education. The law enforcement right now, like we are in a there's a state sanctioned military that is providing law and order for this country. And I feel like there should be more people talking about that. Like they're like not talking about it, but acknowledging that all of the things that we grew up learning in history, in world history, about how Cuba operated, how Libya operated,
Mhm.
how, the countries in the Middle East, how African countries operated, how Russia operated, all those things that they shared all this propaganda about, the things that we're supposed to hate, the things that we're like, ooh, we're America. We would never do that. We're doing
We're
every
doing it.
single one of those things.
Yeah.
And it just can't be business as usual, but that's the part because it is. Like it's just like, oh,
But
you know?
what's to be done? I get so frustrated because you see these people either block or not interested them who are like, what are you everyone's sitting down. What are the Democrats doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? What are we doing? It's like we were supposed to do things. You decided that it was more important to make a stand.
Hmm.
You decided it was more important to focus on Gaza than it was to focus on here. And you did that from 2016. 2016 was the last time
Yeah.
things could have been
Hmm.
salvaged a little bit.
Like there are times
2020
during the
was the other time.
yeah,
It's a wrap now.
it's a
It's a wrap.
wrap. It's a wrap because they voted for him twice, Bossy. Like
3
that's the part
times.
that I can't
3 times.
I can't wrap there are several times during the day, like I'll be doing something mundane. I'll be at the gym, I'll be whatever, writing an email, and I'll literally stop and like, they really voted for him, this motherfucker 3 times? Like a majority of the country? A majority. So we're
Voted for
all
the worst
about
human being in the world
the
to be president.
worst human being. And then when they were in 2016 and then again in 2024, when they were explaining why they did it, it's like because of the economy, because of whatever the fuck bullshit ass egg prices or whatever they lied to us and said,
Egg
right?
prices, grocery prices. He was the first
Grocery,
person to mention groceries.
right? Like that, it was so easy for him and the folks that have been pushing him to get America to be exactly what they wanted. And I saw a really powerful piece. It was on CBS on a random Sunday, like months ago. They were saying that I just lost my train of thought. But essentially they were saying that usually like that this process, like where we are now, has been like 20 or 30 years in the planning, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
That it's been
Since Nixon lost.
Yeah, they made a connection to like Reagan and there were all these connections to like everything that Reagan talked about is what Trump is doing now, right? And how regimes usually take hundreds of years to change, right? Like generations of people have to come and go before changes happen. This has been it's happened much faster, technologies thrown in the mix, like all these things. But then I'm like, nah, it's not, that's not it. Like, that's not it. It wasn't, because of technology that Trump is president. It wasn't because, the people wanted to change or we forgot about people in Kansas and Iowa. Like, that's not it. Like, we can't continue to blame, middle America or folks in South Dakota. Like, there's people right here in Cary, North Carolina, and Bowie, Maryland, and New York City, in the Bronx, in Florida. Like, there are people that wanted this to happen. And the people that wanted this to happen that I see, the majority, that chunk of people are so quiet right now. It's the people that are on the TikToks, who's the guy, the Aiden Rosses, like all the folks, the talking heads that we know that are championing this and being the the voice box for this. But those are the people that, to me, were all like, they're always those fringe people, right? There are so many other people that are quietly supporting this. That's the part that makes me really sick to my stomach because they're everywhere. It's like you go outside, it's a horror movie. It's like Jason is around us. Freddy Krueger lives amongst us and is praying for our downfall. Like they want ICE to come to this house and pull you out and pull me out. Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
an active insidiousness that is horror level that used to be for the fringe, used to be like, you could name them. It was Pat Buchanan and Newt Gingrich and, Rush Limbaugh. Like they were the crazy guys, right? Like they're the ones, they have their place. But now it's everybody it's
It
everybody.
is.
You
It
know what I'm
is.
saying?
It is. And the thing is that I think one of the main differences also is that they are the quiet people. They're the quiet majority, but they're also loud people too. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is not the first time, but to be aware of the fact that the loud people are not as bad as the quiet ones, which means the quiet ones are doing some real
Yes, they're the
like
ones.
they're doing like it's all bad, but if you're the ones who are out here doing this, I know the machinations under beneath the scenes or behind the scenes are. This is where I don't like doom and gloom, but I feel like we're doomed.
Yeah, it's doomy
I
and
feel like
gloomy.
we're doomed.
It's doomy
I
and
don't know what
gloomy.
the it's doom and gloom. I don't know what are we supposed to do now? And I'm gonna say something, and I don't care. I don't
Say
care. But I've been feeling this for like the last, I'll say a month. I don't give a fuck about Gaza right now.
it.
I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck about Gaza. And the fact that a large portion of why we're here is because so many people decided we need to care more about that than here. And I'm not even gonna qualify it with, like, I don't agree with genocide, because obviously I
Who
don't. Like, shut
does?
the
Right.
fuck up. Like,
Right.
don't,
Right.
like, whenever
Right.
you say that, they're like, "Oh, so you're fine with babies being killed?" No. Okay, no, yes. All right, is that enough? Okay, yes, I am.
Right.
Let's move
Right.
on.
Right.
I don't care because there's so much happening here that is infinitely worse for the people in Gaza
Yeah. Yes.
than
That part.
than anything. It's a
That part.
wrap for all the things that people purport to care about around the world. It is a wrap for those people too, because it is a wrap here. The people who are in charge and who have orchestrated it so that they are going to be in charge long after Constitution was designed to let people. They're
Yeah.
talking about third terms here.
Right. Right. So
They got rid of
frivolously.
PBS. They got
Yeah.
rid of NPR. They got rid of all the things that were created to be outlets for people to either learn, to pull themselves out of their situations, to not even pull themselves out of their situations, but to be aware that
There you go. Yep.
there are other things that exist outside of their present. They've destroyed all of that. So now we've got people who are rudderless, who
Hmm.
have whose only ambition is to continue being as white as possible because they're told that that's the only thing that's been keeping them from the life that they live. And without these I guess media outlets that were created to teach poor children
Hmm. Yep.
what was possible, you remove that, and they think that the only barrier between what it is that they want and what it is that they can get are Black people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I am in 1,000 support agreement. We've talked about this off camera. Like the Gaza, the Israel. I don't know, and I just don't have the capacity to care. I don't. Like I again, no explanation. Period. Like I don't. And also, what's happening in Gaza now? Like it was so important during the election and post election. And when there were bombings, terrorists, I don't know what's happening there now. Where is it?
And it only became important again when Jasmine Crockett wants to run for office in
That's
Texas. Now all of a
that's the
sudden it's important again.
Right, right. And when they asked the New York mayor in the debate, like, where would you
New
want to
York
go to
mayor.
visit? And they all said, Gaza. Like,
Shut the
like,
fuck
shut
up.
up. What are you talking about? It doesn't
Shut
even make
up.
sense. Who are we? Like, yeah. So all of that, like all the shit that's happening around the world, I don't care about. Honestly, I mean, if we're being like, of course, we always support and love and want to make sure that Black folks around the world are safe and secure. And also, there's Black folks here that are not safe and secure.
Insecure.
We are probably not safe and secure here. We now have state sanctioned media.
Mhm.
I was up there in Maryland this weekend dropping Ellen off, and I saw a commercial that it was just a Trump commercial. Uh, it was for no other reason. It served no purpose. It was just literally like, um, it was literally Trump was right about Europe, and
Mhm.
we're gonna make them pay. Like that was the commercial. So I was like, oh wow, we have state sanctioned media now. And then the following commercial was a documentary about Melania that's gonna be on Amazon
I
Prime. What
I
the fuck is going on? I was like back to back during a football game?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
the
I actually
hell?
saw that yesterday. I don't know what I was watching, and I saw the Melania documentary, and I was like, this is it's a and the thing is that the things around the world that I do care about are in jeopardy because of what's going on in America.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know that, like, the stuff that's going on in Nigeria is because of has been made infinitely worse because of America. I know that they're out to get Toure oh, yeah, is it Toure or Tome? Toure in, uh oh, wait, is he I can't remember where he is in my brain. Um, they're trying to get him out because he's running shit and
Mhm.
he ran the French out. Like, it's all of these things are in jeopardy. All the things that I care about are in jeopardy because of America. So I have to care more about America and what they're doing first.
Yeah. I don't even, I feel like after 2016 election, when we were all kind of down, it was like, oh man, like America made a mistake, like, oh man, like we're gonna fix it, right? He was a one-term president, Biden came in, and everything happened after that. And I'm just really at a loss for not how to fix it, because I agree with you. I don't think that there's any fixing necessarily, but like what now? Like do we continue to talk about it? Do we ignore it for our own individual, psychological safety? Um it's just uh, I I'm at a loss. Like I don't know what
I
to
am too.
tell. We talk to kids, and we talk to, talking to Ellington and talking to Brooklyn, and just the country is crazy. All of the things that they're learning in school, like my daughter right now is having a US history lesson. And they're talking about the Civil War, and they're talking about Jim Crow, and they're talking about all of these, national events that have happened that impacts like segregation and where people live and all that things. And like they can't. My daughter said, like, so I asked her, like, are you talking about like what's happening in the country right now? And she said no, because the teachers told them that they can't talk about current events.
Mhm.
Well, what the fuck are we talking about history for then? Like, like, because the world, even the United States,
I'm turning
that
my camera off, but I'm right here. I'm
okay,
listening. Go ahead.
the United States that we were living in, that where all of these things happened, they happened then, so that we're supposed to learn from our history and not repeat the same things from you know what I'm saying? And
Well, they're making it a point for us not to know what happened before because they know that history repeats itself. If we don't know about history, then we don't care if it repeats. We won't even notice that it repeats.
right, right, right. And it's just, I don't know. It's I don't know. I'm an eternal optimist as well, and I just don't know how to move from this, other than to be one of those people like, I don't do politics. But like we can't,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
is that the way to do it? Like, not even being facetious.
What are the alternatives? Like, what are we? I'm at a complete loss because do we immerse ourselves so much in it that we can't breathe and do anything else or live or exist? Or do we step back and watch other people be unable to live and exist? Like, what? I
Yeah.
don't know.
I think the second option that you just gave is the energy that I've like subconsciously bought into, is that, my rhetoric, for the work that I do, we're always thinking about, race and culture, and especially when it comes to schools and education. And for a long time, even like my social media content, the things that I repost or share out, I always shared it with the mindset of like, I'm speaking. If it's about racism, like I'm directing it to Black folks, like, look what we have to go through, like, like we're reflecting, like, man, look at this is crazy. But subconsciously, I've transitioned to white people. Y'all got to deal with this. Like any
Mm-hmm.
race content, like it's not about like, oh, look at the horror that Black folks have to go through, because that's on full display. Like we're not going to change. I don't know. Maybe this is hypocritical, or whatever. But like we're not going to change folks' mind when we're sharing, like, look how horrible racism is to other Black people, because we know. And if we don't know, then at least subconsciously, like we feel, like we understand. My mindset now is like, white people, y'all have work to do. Like y'all are the majority right now. You all have been silent and have placed us in this situation. And now y'all got work to do if you want it to change, which I'm not sure that they do.
I don't trust them. I don't trust them. Even the ones that are supposed to be on our side, they let us down.
Hmm.
They let us down twice, three times, actually. And they get, and there's some Black people too,
Yeah.
they get money and attention from things being bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but when I turned off my camera, I went to my bookshelf. I wanted to get this book. It's called Lies My Teacher Told Me by James
Mm.
Lowen. It's one
Okay.
of my favorite books. I've literally had this book for 35 years.
Oh,
It's
wow.
called Lies My Teacher Told Me: Everything Your American History Textbook Got Wrong. James
Ooh.
W. Lowen, Lies My Teacher Told Me.
Saying it
Everyone
right.
needs to read this book. I haven't read
Okay.
it in a while, so I'm gonna reread it, but it is everything we've talked about things that get lost to history because history turns into propaganda and
Mhm.
revisionist. This book is. I'm gonna actually look and see if it's been updated since it was first published. When was
It
it
looks like
published?
the book that I'm
Is it out of
looking at.
print?
No, 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 no.
Is it out of print?
I'm looking at it on Amazon right now. It looks different than the book that you just held up, so I'm wondering if this like a new edition or
I
if it's
hope
been
so.
updated.
This one was
Yeah.
published in 1995.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
so
can't.
it's exactly 30 years old. So I'm actually really interested in seeing what the update might be.
I might
But
add
yeah, it's
that to my Audible, and when I'm driving my daughter around to practice and all over the place, like, we've been listening to books just like her, books that she likes, but I might throw this on and just have it on in the background. I think that she's definitely in a space where, she's starting to ask questions like, "Why is this happening? What happened?" She asked about it wasn't Minnesota, something happened before Minnesota. Like every other day, something major's happening. I can't remember what it was, but she asked like, why is this going on?" It's just really hard to explain all of this because there's no hope on the other side of it. And I don't want to like fake hope, like, oh well, if you make good grades and go to college, like you could be the president of the United States or you can get in the system and change it. I don't want to talk that way anymore because I don't think that's relevant anymore, But,
yeah,
yeah, thanks for that. I'm definitely gonna add that to my
yeah. I'm gonna reread it. I haven't read it in a couple of years, but it is one of my absolute most favorite books for what it is
Mm,
that it shows. I think people always suggest A People's History by Howard Zinn, but I think this does a much better job of contextualizing a lot of things, in
mm.
my opinion.
Along those same lines, I just started reading, almost through with it, a new book by why did my daughter call me? Speaking of which, I started reading a book by Roland Martin. What's your thoughts on Roland Martin? Is that a loaded question?
Uh, he once threatened to spank me on
Alright,
Twitter.
well, moving on. What?
It's the dumbest thing. I challenged him on something and he was like, "You've never been your daddy never hit you," some shit, like some dumb shit. It was
Alright,
years and years
okay.
and
You
years
see what I'm
ago.
saying? Like, oh god, all of our heroes are
I
creeps.
like I that aside, like, personally, not a
Mhm,
fan. Also ran into him at the Congressional Black Caucus a couple years ago, so not a fan personally, but
mm,
overall, as an intellectual, as a public-facing person, I admire him. I not admire him, but I appreciate what he does.
mm. He gave me the vibes of just, like, being extremely pompous, but just like,
And is
yeah,
and is
he gives, like he's an Alpha Phi Alpha of one of my fraternity brothers. He gives that vibe of, like, the old crotchety when you go to, like, chapter meetings, and there's always, like, a few of the older alpha that is like, I don't like anything. You young guys are always out here now." Like, "All right, pops, calm
whippersnappers.
down." But I just started reading his book. It's called White Fear, and I can't read the subtitle because my eyes, but it's like White Fear, how something something something. But it's really really good, and it's like a brief. The book starts with like a brief history lesson of all the things that have happened to get to where we are right now. And he does a
Mhm.
really good job, like synthesizing it all, going back to Tulsa, and even before that, to the riots in Wilmington, and basically sharing all of the little events that happened around the country to cause all of the riots in the early 1900s that led to all of the legislation in the season 60s that led to Ronald Reagan, that led to Trump. And he
Mhm,
does a
mhm.
great job like connecting the dots there, which is like everything that I listened to, none of it was a surprise, none of it was new, but hearing the thread that he
The
created,
through line. Yeah.
the through line, it was really good there. And he kind of gives a way out or a way to process what we're currently experiencing. The book was written in 2023, so this was maybe, of course, it was before the election, but he's projecting what's going to happen in 2025, 26, 27, and it's surprisingly accurate. Like
Mm.
everything that Kamala Harris told us about, everything that Hillary Clinton told us about. And if Trump gets another presidency, then there's going to be a third term. There's going to be state sanctioned police. There's going to be like all these things. So it's really good. I really enjoy it. He does it in a way that's like a pompous old alpha. Like he's talking like y'all need to go and do it. Like y'all black folks need to stop taking these white folks, which is good. Which I think is like the right, you know, one of the right.
Tone.
Yeah, the tone was perfect for what we're all experiencing right now. But you had started by saying that you were in a Shador Sanders cyclone to
Yeah.
avoid all of the stuff that we just talked about. What did you see in that?
I just I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but m I don't think she listens, but my sister told me that the whole thing with he did terrible in his interviews, and he was a horrible blah, blah, blah. She said one person said that and nobody investigated.
hmm
Um,
hmm
and for me, it's been clear just watching how he carries himself, watching who his father is and how his father, um, just his family dynamic is very
hmm
clear that somebody lied.
hmm
And I've just been really impressed by not just the way he carries himself, because he's still very much a 23-year-old kid, but
hmm
he is so wise and so aware of what it is that they're trying to do to him, and he doesn't fall into the trap, and I'm just so very impressed by that. Yeah, I've just been watching a lot about, like, just his brothers and them sharing like, they're funny, they're hilarious, you're just like, like I said, they're just regular, like, black kids,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just really enjoy watching them be a family, which is so creepy.
Right.
It's so
No,
creepy,
no, I
but
agree with
I'm
you.
just
Yeah.
really it's just really heartening I'm just so proud of what he's done and what he's accomplished and what is possible as the parent of an athlete who goes into slumps and who doesn't know who went from, like, being the guy to not being sure where they fit in, like, just seeing it's just very inspiring to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of like what how they've been reporting on him, I think that it is reflective of a larger, the insidious nature that we talked about, like how they tried to villainize him.
Mhm.
And
And
then
humble him.
it's all that they talked about for 3 or 4 months, and then it stopped.
Mhm,
Then it just went silent.
mhm.
And for me,
And
when you
then and
see,
then when he started doing well or when he fought for his position,
Mhm.
everybody started talking like they never said anything bad about him.
Right,
They always
right,
believed. Okay.
yeah, yeah, and it just that pattern of aligning all of that energy around him at the beginning of the season. He didn't get drafted, all that, he got drafted late and he didn't play, and the coach wasn't including him in certain drills so that he
Even
could be
that.
prepared to play. Did you hear about that? Like that was
Yeah.
crazy, right? And it
Yeah.
made me think about conversations that you and I have had about our boys, right? And like how they felt in or out of place in different environments. And it's just like it doesn't matter how much money you have, how good you are, how, where your family's from, how much
Mhm,
money your family has.
mhm.
It's
If anything,
like
that's more detrimental sometimes.
yeah, like there is just like why do they hate like, why do they hate us like this? You know what I'm saying? It just
Yeah.
he was a real-time example. At 23 years old, some of those press conferences that he held after losing, after not being selected, like, were so mature
Mhm,
and so grounded and so future focused, all so humble, all of
Yeah.
the things that they
Refusing to blame
never
or
blamed.
villainize anybody else.
Right. All the things that they say we're supposed to do, he did it. So,
Mhm,
so peep this part, right? I've seen and heard, filmed conversations with between Dion and him and his other children about, the importance of being humble. And, he talked about Dion always, when he first started coaching, he told all his players, like, you can't go to class in slides.
mhm,
We don't want you to wear shorts to class. You got to look a certain way. You got to dress a certain way, right? You're representing our team. And and that mentality, we know it's important. We've said the same thing to our boys, right? But at the end of the day, who fucking cares? Because if they want a reason to bash you, to embarrass you, to humble you, it doesn't matter if you have two different shoes on. It doesn't
mhm,
matter if you never combed your hair again, or if you went to class in underwear, right? Because it's necessary for the way that this country operates to have
mhm,
someone to beat up on.
mhm.
Like, it's a part of who this country is. And if we're not beating up on Venezuela or Greenland or whoever the fuck, we got black people. We have our in-house pinata. Like,
Yeah.
we could take out all of our frustrations on the Shadors and all the people that black people love to make sure that they know
Sinners.
there's nowhere for you to go. Right. You're not going to win any awards. It doesn't matter if you're Michael Jackson, if you're, Michael B. Jordan, like, you're not going to win. You're going to try your hardest. You're going to
You're
smile.
not gonna win, and we're gonna make sure you don't win at the thing that you were the most excellent at. We
Right.
might give you an award later on when you play some shit that we're comfortable with, or when you do some shit we're comfortable with, but
Right.
you're not gonna win for Malcolm X,
You're not
Denzel.
going to win for Malcolm X.
You're
Yeah.
not gonna win for Smoke and Stack, Michael
Right.
B. Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not gonna win Ryan Coogler. Like, it's just but the thing is, going back to Shador, and it kinda just all fits. One of the things that I also saw was that I saw, like, a white talking head talking about, like, it's his fault he went 5th, he passed over this team and this team and that team, he said he wasn't gonna play for this, and they've always made it sound like it was some arrogance thing, and then I heard him talk about it, either him or his brother talk about it, and he's like, in order for him to go to some of those teams, he would have to wish that Jalen Hurts gets hurt. He'd have
Right.
to wish that Lamar Jackson got
Lamar
hurt, or that
Jackson.
I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know quarterbacks, but he'd
Yep.
have to
You're
play
right.
behind them, hoping that they wouldn't do well or that they would get hurt in order for him to have his position. And he didn't want that. That's not the way that he wanted to be on a team. And you don't hear that at all when you think about maturity, when you think about thoughtfulness, when you think about all of the things again that you keep telling people that athletes and young black men are supposed to be, and when they're that, you have to find a way to vilify them. And the thing also is, when you talk about you can go to school and you can do whatever you want and wear whatever you want, and they'll still treat you a certain way. And I believe that's true in the sense of, like, what people talk about respectability politics.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I don't ever want you to make it easy for them. Like, you gotta make it they gotta dig, they gotta make it I wanna
Mm,
make it as difficult as possible for you to do this. If you're determined, then you have to do the work.
yeah. To take me
You're gonna
out.
have to do the
Right.
work to take me out. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
make it easy for you.
Right.
Um, Again, that's not to say or to imply that it's not to say anything other than what the fuck I said. I exactly said. I said that I don't want to make it easy. It doesn't mean I want it hard for this. I don't want. No, I'm not going to make it easy for you to do what it is that you want to do. I'm
Right.
not going to give you the satisfaction of being upset and throwing things and fitting your narrative. But at the same time, if I do get upset and throw things, I'm well within my right.
I'm a human. Right.
I'm a
Yeah.
human being and I get to be human. But you're going to have to do a lot of work. You're
Yeah.
going to have to do a lot of work.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm my For You page too is the twins dancing.
I used to love like twins. I
those
loved them.
that's where I find my joy in the twins dancing, in freestyle MCs, battle rapping. Everybody's calling me for my birthday right now. I find my joy in Beyonce and Jasmine Sullivan singing. Did you
I've been
did
getting a
we
lot of old school, like not even old school hip hop and old school R&B, but like the kind of old school hip hop and old school R&B that only heads know and remember.
Right,
Like it's
right,
like some
right.
deep, deep
Boot
cuts.
camp click, like, yeah,
Yeah,
Giggable
yeah, yeah,
Planets
yeah.
type, yeah, like, do we talk about on here homeboy on Instagram or on social media that recorded 16 bars a day for the last year?
With the one who does the political stuff
Yeah, 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 yeah.
with the
Do we talk
colored
about
hair.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
So dope.
Oh my god, yo.
So dope.
Oh.
So dope.
He's
And
one of
his
those.
last line, his little mic drop, it's always like
It's always a mic drop,
always.
and he's still going, he's
Yeah, yeah.
still going, he's still going.
Yeah.
So I think about, like, what do we do? And there's not a finite answer, right? There's nothing like, "All right, after today, I'm gonna do this." But it's just like, as best as we can, trying to focus on what brings us joy, right?
Mhm.
As zen and as whatever as that sounds. And I think it's talking. I think it's telling our stories, whatever that is, right? So I feel like, platforms like ours, for everybody that doesn't have a podcast or doesn't have, someone that they can talk, an hour a week about current events, is like, how are we finding a way to talk and to get these frustrations out, and so that it doesn't turn into a heart attack or heart disease or a tumor, or like, in seriousness, like, how are we finding opportunities for respite and
Mhm.
for clearing our minds, and while still being as activist as we can. um I don't even know. I don't know how to do that. I really don't know how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if we should add like not a segment, but like a portion where we just talk about something like we like, something good that
For
happened,
candy
something that
or something. No, I
candy,
like that.
something,
I like that. I think
something.
that could be our joy section, our joy segment, right? Like, what's bringing us joy this week?
Or just not giving us heartache.
What's not trying to kill us this week?
Was not trying to kill us. You know, you're gonna laugh at me because you think that I always have these like I have that app that like shuts things down in order to like so
Oh
I've
god.
gone a step further.
No. What does it do?
It comes today. It's called the brick.
I don't like it already.
It's called the brick. So it's this little thing, and when you tap it or no, you have an app and then it shuts you can choose which apps to shut down for as long, but you can't turn your phone back on or close
All
the
right.
apps until you literally have to go and tap your phone on the brick in order to open your phone again. So if you take it, like I'm gonna keep running the car so that if I need to, I have to want to be on social media, like really want it enough to put on my shoes, go to the car,
Oh,
open the
wait,
car.
you're keeping it in the car, like, when you're
I'm keeping
not
it in the car.
driving?
Yeah, I'm keeping it in the car. I'm keeping it in the car.
Yo.
Like in the glove compartment. Like I am because if I was thinking because people put it on the fridge, I was like, I can just go to the fridge, like I click it, like whatever. I
Right.
was thinking maybe I'll put it in E's room because his room is he's a teenage boy and his room is exactly that. And I don't want to go in there. I was like, yeah, but it's still in the house.
Right. You have to go
So I'm gonna keep it
outside.
in the
So
car.
so how wait, wait, wait. So you could activate it through the phone?
Yeah, you have an app. You can activate it through the app. You can either schedule it to just turn off on its own, or you
Okay.
can, like, put a schedule, but you can choose like, I wanna put everything but, like, Kindle or Google or something like that.
Mhm.
But in order to unlock it, no matter where you are, you have to, like
So you can't unlock it from the phone itself?
no, you have to go
That's
to the
crazy.
thing. You have to go to the thing. You can't delete it. You can't you I think you have, like, 3 or 4 saves a year is what I was reading, where you can, like, message them like, "Yo, okay, I accidentally did this," or, "It went off without da da da," and they'll unlock it for you manually or remotely, but for the most part, you have to go and and turn
Wow.
it on
So
or
it
to
bricks your
deactivate
phone.
it. You have to
Oh,
physically go to a thing. It's desperate measures. I did not sleep until like 3 o'clock this morning because my brain was going. And instead of just like trying to sleep, I was like, fuck it. And I was just on my phone. I'd done the other thing to turn off my iPad, but I was like, oh, I'm fine. My iPad's off. I'm in bed. I'll just lay here until I sleep. And I was like, oh, is my phone on? And my phone, I didn't activate it on my phone. So I just was on my phone,
oh
just
man.
scrolling until 3 in the morning.
I mean, I'm not mad at it. I mean, that's extreme for me, but I mean, I'm not mad at the concept of get this phone away from me.
I have to break the dopamine center. Like, I
Yeah.
have to disrupt the dopamine center. Just like when we talked about last week, like, just learning about ADHD and, like, all the things that, like the reason why things happen and, like, me understanding, like, I get, like, a rush from certain things, and if I can't find, like, the quote, unquote, "pleasure center" of the thing that I'm doing, there's no real motivation for me to do it. It's the same way
Mm,
when, like, the house will be a mess until somebody says they're coming over, and then my thing is, like, I don't want them to see it. I don't care. I could be here with the laundry piling up.
mhm,
There's just
mhm.
I can ignore that. So trying to reset my dopamine providers or whatever
Yeah.
is what I'm trying to do, and I have to physically do that
Are you
in order to
worried
get
that
used to it.
let me not say are you worried. I worry sometimes when I've thought about like, all right, I'm gonna limit my social media. I'm pretty good with it, probably on a little bit too much, but that it would be replaced by something else that I don't want, like eating Doritos or doing something that like is the dopamine rush going to be replaced by something else that doesn't give me any joy? I don't know. Like that, I've
Well,
always worried about that.
I think that what it does, though, is that it makes you aware of where it is that you're getting it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it makes
And
you
what
aware.
kind of rush it and what kind
Yeah,
of
like, what it
trigger
feels
it is,
like,
like,
and,
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
I can't, because I remember people be like, "Oh, don't doom scroll before bed," and to me, it's like, I'm not doom scrolling. Everything I watch is
Same,
nice.
same. Yeah, exactly,
They'll
exactly.
do me. I'm not watching the news or watching people get shot, like, laughing
Right. I'm watching the
and,
twins, right.
you know what I'm saying? Like that, I'm having a great time. I don't know what you're talking about. So trying to access what that is, like what part of my brain that stimulates and seeing where else I can get that. I know for me, it's not going to be Doritos because I'm not like I like sweet things, but like I don't eat in order to feel good. I eat because I
Mm,
like sweet things. So it's not going to replace that. But I want to know and understand what it is that I feel like I'm missing when I'm not able to scroll or what
mm,
it is I feel like and I think for me, a lot of it is like, um, what it is that what am I afraid of doing that I'm using this as an excuse not to do? And I think for me, it's like it's writing or getting back into the habit of writing. I started getting back into the habit of
writing,
reading.
yep.
I read this
Mhm.
terrible book that I want to fight every single 5-star review. I've this book's terrible, and I'm so upset about it. Um,
What book is it?
it's called The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I'm not a big
Okay.
fiction person, so I'm trying to read more
Me
fiction.
either, yeah.
This book was like the best book in 2023 or some shit like that. Terrible. Awful. It's one of those books, let me actually get into it. It's one of those books where the author, who is white, decides to write people of color, but do absolutely no research other than to say my dad is black or whatever. Like absolutely no
Wow.
research. The main
Yeah.
character or the narrator of this, it's a story about this like 1950s Hollywood star who wants to write her book and she asks this random young writer to be the one who interviews her and tells her story. And then there's this ridiculous plot twist that made me so fucking mad. And if I didn't have my Kindle, I would have thrown it across the room, or my iPad, I would have thrown it across the room. It was the dumbest twist I'd ever read. It made me so pissed off. But the thing is, she kept saying that how she's like, it was like her mother's white, her dad's black, and she's like, I don't fit anywhere. My life, it's like,
Oh,
that's
god.
come on, black people will accept you. Like the fuck. And then there was a line that really pissed me off. Do you know where Baldwin Hills is? In
Is that where, Insecure took place? No, no, I don't know. I don't
kind of.
Mhm.
Insecure was Englewood, but like Baldwin Hills, they called it the Black Beverly Hills.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
where
yeah.
like, yeah,
Yes.
like where
Mhm, mhm.
rich black movie stars and stuff would live when they weren't able to live in Beverly Hills in the 20s, 30s, 40s. And so there was a line, there's like, my dad wouldn't feel comfortable in Beverly Hills, and my mom wouldn't feel comfortable in Baldwin Hills. So we didn't. I was like, your mom would feel comfortable in Baldwin Hills? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, maybe not your dad
Right.
in Beverly Hills in the 50s, but like Baldwin Hills? Black people are notorious for welcoming fucking biracial ass niggas in the community. What are you talking
Right.
about? But it was just part of like this, like you didn't do any research. You
Yeah.
made the main 50s character this Cuban person who passes for white in Hollywood, but you never mentioned that she's passing. You just like she dyed her hair. It pissed me off. The whole thing pissed me off,
Mm.
and it made me mad. I was like, this woman is like one of the most celebrated fiction writers in this century or whatever. And fuck you, I can do better. So now I'm writing a book.
Right. All that to say, I'm writing
All that to
again.
say that I've been using the doom scrolling or the distractions to avoid doing what I need to do. And
Yeah.
if I remove those distractions and know and remember like what it is I'm capable of doing, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Taylor
Yeah.
Jenkins Reid. Fuck you. I was so
You
mad.
you can cleanse your palate from that. Did you ever look into that book I mentioned, How to Say Babylon? Did I tell you about
Oh
that?
no, I
I t
forgot.
right
I
now.
forgot.
Add it right
Yeah, I'm gonna do
now.
that right now.
That's your palate cleanse.
Oh,
I can't stop thinking about that book.
I think that I requested it on Libby to
Mhm.
like the library.
Sophia Sinclair, man, I'm still reeling from that book. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
One more time, what's it called?
How to Say Babylon,
How to
S-A-Y.
Say Babylon. Okay,
Phenomenal,
let me
phenomenal.
search for it right now. But I feel like I added it on Libby and it's just not available yet.
Well, Bossy, this
Right.
was another great episode, the doom and gloom of it all. But we're just gonna keep talking our way through it. And
We're just gonna we have no choice but to keep going.
yeah, 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 yeah,
No
yeah, yeah.
choice.
Well, folks, thanks for listening. Continue to follow us on all things, comment, like, share, and we will holler at y'all next week. Keep finding the truth in the chaos, the clarity in the culture, and the joy in the journey. And we'll see you next week. Peace.
Bye.
All
You know how we kept
right.
talking like you kept
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.